Alright guys, let's check out some watches instead. And what I mean by that is I decided to record some watch videos because my live stream wasn't loading properly or something. It was buffing. I'm not going to subject everyone to that, so let's check out some watches. So let's check out this guy here. This is a Laurier Hydra. Now I know typically, and I know I've had at least 3 of the Neptunes, because there's actually 3 different generations. There's 1, 2, 3 generations of the Neptune, which is essentially this watch. There's obviously the dial layout, and there's some other subtle changes and everything, and I don't have one here to compare to, but the Hydra is a special limited edition. It's already been discontinued and everything, but it has really long, thin indices on it instead of like either dots or triangles and all this other stuff. So quite a bit different look overall. It has a unique look to it, especially with the plexiglass. Yeah, this one has plexi and a plexi instead of like a sapphire bezel insert. That's plexiglass as well. All of it's BGW9 lume, so we'll do a lume shot at the end. That should look pretty cool. But even in just looking at this overall in general with that plexiglass, it just, if you haven't owned a watch with plexiglass for the crystal, I mean, look at what it does for the distortion. It is just, it bends light so much differently than any other material. So it's a pretty interesting effect for sure. So, and then really nice finishing on this oversized crown. And let's get into the case measurements too, because I usually start with that. On the website, it says 39 millimeter. I'll put a link in the description, but everywhere I measure it, it's 38.5 millimeter watch, and it definitely wears like one. 48 lug to lug. They're claiming 12 millimeter thick, excluding this high domed plexiglass crystal. With it, I didn't measure it, so let's do it right now. It's pretty thick, like 15.5 with it, but you can see it, I mean, how high it domes up. So it's 12 and then 15.5, so that thing's up like 3 mil. So 20 millimeter lug width bracelet tapers down wonderfully down to 16. That makes the bracelet so comfortable, on top of the fact that the way this bracelet is designed is, I mean, look how it articulates. I mean, you can just fold it up on itself big time, and they chamfered the inside there so it flows really easily. There's no binding or anything. So screw links on it. Milled clasp. I love the clasps too. There's 2 micro adjust, just double pusher, a little chevron there for their logo. Nice, simple, discreet overall. Just a great design. Solid end links, all that good stuff. 7.5 millimeter crown. Way big, you know, like typically a 7 is great. 7.5 on this fills that whole side panel, easy to operate. The coin edging on it is done a little more fine, and so normally if that was on a small crown, you wouldn't be able to grip it, but being that it's 7.5 mil, no problem gripping that. And that same fine coin edge is on the bezel of this too, which is a nice 120 click bezel, consistent all the way across. Its rotation lines up good, everything's good there. These bracelets are so comfortable, guys. And then plus they're like flat satin, so like, I mean, look what it does to the light. So you got the crazy light play for the plexiglass crystal, and then you have it on the bracelet too, where it's those flat brushed surfaces just catch the light really cool. All right, let's pop this on wrist real quick. I'm gonna take my Tudor Black Bay off real quick. See if I can fit this on. Big thanks to Dino for sending this over. A little bit of wrist claustrophobia there. It's sized much smaller than what my wrist will support. There's no way I'm going to be able to clasp it down. But you can see even on my 7.25, that 48 lug to lug, no problem. I could rock this watch, not a problem, especially with that bracelet. I love it. And these sold for $3.99. So just under 400 bucks. Got you a really nice, unique design from a micro brand. Good components. I know some people are hit or miss, you know, with the, like I said, with the plexiglass. But that's, you know, this watch didn't do plexiglass to save money. It did the plexi to do this. And the guys that are fans of the style of crystal, that's who this watch is for. This isn't for everybody. This is for the guys that like the more vintage inspired with the plexiglass and has modern, materials other than the plexi, the stainless steel, well done bracelet, excellent finishing, Seiko NH35 movement. So you're going to be able to hand wind and hack and all that good stuff. 120 click bezel. So just a great overall watch. Now I'm going to try, I got to move that for sure. I'm going to try to do a good loom shot. I'm not going to move those watches in the background. So but there you can see, I mean, the big difference, you can see some other BGW9 and some C3 showing off there. And of course on this guy, I mean, look at that. It's the bezels loomed out nice, and those long, super long indices on this are so good. I'm telling you that I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but to the naked eye, that is so trippy to see the plexi with the loom. It seriously messes with your head. That is so cool. Anyway, thanks Dino for sending this in, and thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next vid.